Hey kids, imagine a beautiful sunny day by a sparkling pool where frogs are jumping and laughing. That's where our story begins. This isn't just any ordinary day. It's the day when something huge happens, literally huge. Ready to jump into the frogs and the ox? Let's go. Long ago, frogs lived happily by a calm, bubbling pool. They splashed and played all day, not a care in the world. Life was peaceful and fun until one day, an unexpected visitor arrived at their pool. Out of nowhere, a big strong ox wandered into the frog's little paradise. The ground shook under its hooves. Spotting the clear water, the ox leaned down and began to drink from the pool. The ox was huge, bigger than anything the frogs had ever seen. As it drank, drops of water rolled everywhere, and the frogs hopped away to stay safe. But then something sad happened. In its giant steps, the ox accidentally stepped on a young frog. The frogs were stunned. "What was that creature?" they whispered. Word quickly spread about the gigantic ox. The older frogs, curious and concerned, gathered to discuss what had happened. One elder frog stood tall and asked, "How big was this creature you speak of?" "It was enormous," said one young frog, stretching out its arms wide. The elder frog, who was quite proud, puffed up her chest and said, "Was it as big as me?" The younger frogs laughed and shouted, "No way, nowhere near." Determined to prove her strength, the older frog said, "Watch this." She began to puff herself up. With each breath, her skin stretched and she grew bigger and bigger. She stopped and asked, "Now am I as big as the ox?" The younger frogs giggled, "No, not yet." The older frog stretched herself again, growing even larger. Her determination became stronger by the second. As the young frogs warned her to stop, she just kept going. "I can do it. I can be as big as the ox," she exclaimed. The elder frog took one final breath, trying harder than ever to match the ox's size. But her body had reached its limit. With a loud pop, she burst. The frogs jumped back, startled and shocked. Their elder had tried to do the impossible, and it had cost her dearly. The frogs gathered sadly. One spoke up, "The ox is mighty because that's who it is. We frogs don't need to be like the ox to be special." The younger frogs nodded in agreement, realizing the importance of being true to themselves instead of trying to be something they're not. The wise frog concluded, "The world is made up of all kinds of creatures, big and small, and each one has its own unique strengths. It's better to appreciate who you are than to try and be something you're not. Remember, being yourself is always enough." That's the end of today's adventure. Can't wait to share more wonderful stories with you next time, little ones. See you soon.